We're also going to talk today about fare policy and traffic forecasting, and this is an area of sophisticated technical approaches. I'm not going to try to go into detail, and I'm introducing you to some of the methods and processes used for the determination of potential revenue as a project is proposed between here and there, and this revenue projection process is definitely one that has received a great deal of attention and sometimes controversy. The Florida High-Speed Rail project, for instance, over and over again, traffic forecasts were made by different parties. At one point, the Florida DOT commissioned two separate high-speed rail traffic forecasting consultants to prepare traffic forecasts based on different techniques, and then they found they had a high and a low, and the difference wasn't that dramatic. But this is an area where public comment is often critical because, frankly, it's very hard to understand the techniques, the assumptions that are made to forecast traffic volume. Traffic volume, I should add, is also completely related to revenue, and so it becomes a very significant part of the financial predictions and financial management of the project. So we can say that the profitability of the project, and I like the author's immediate assumption that these projects are profitable from an operations point of view, and also the public utility of a project. What are the public benefits? Strongly linked to the project's ability to attract new passengers. So traffic forecasts are essential to assess the revenues and the utility from a public point of view. So one of the major risks of a high-speed rail project is the commercial risk. And the commercial risk: will revenue exceed operating costs? Will revenue potentially be able to contribute to the capital investments required? So they are, traffic forecasts are a key issue when dealing with project financing and with risk allocation. And often, because of the way these projects are financed, when private funds are involved, they need to have a traffic forecasting process and procedure that is that has kind of the investment grade certification, so that the banks and the lenders believe in the forecast process. Predicting traffic volumes and revenues involves very sophisticated modeling techniques based on statistical approaches. There are many modeling techniques, from techniques that rely on similar origin and destination pairs, similarities between a corridor that you're trying to predict and other corridors that are in operation. And then there's also a level of sophisticated modeling, basically in a vacuum, determining ridership based on the economic indicators, population, employment, traffic on alternative modes, and the time separation between origins and destination. Very sophisticated models require lots of data, and data gathering is often a very long and costly process. The more complex the model, one can say, the more it is weak in terms of being explained to the public, to decision makers, to politicians, and often that complexity becomes a difficulty. traffic prediction should be comprehensible for non-specialists. It very often is not. So some technical stuff to think about. We're looking at traffic forecasts from an origin to a destination city, an A and a B, and here you can see there are intermediate stations and intermediate traffic forecasts, because passengers are not just moving from A to B, they're moving from A to D, from A to E, A to F, from D to C, from F to G. You have to take the entire set of origin-destination pairs into account as you predict the traffic that will be attracted to the new high-speed line. So another key issue is the value of time. Obviously, high-speed rail is going to change the amount of time it takes to go from origin to destination. So the value of time is a key piece of data to be used in the analysis. When you look at air and rail competition from an origin to a destination, you have, again, differences in time considerations and the value of time. And here is an attempt to describe the train passengers in the dark blue, the air passengers in the light blue, with respect to the value of time and the percentage of passengers that will be attracted to the rail mode. As you can imagine, because high-speed rail is a 300 to 500 mile corridor in most cases, the air-rail competition is a significant part of the traffic prediction, moving aviation consumers over to the rail service. And in every case where high-speed rail has been implemented, there has been a significant shift from aviation to rail. And that shift needs to be predicted, measured, estimated using these statistical processes. So here we can see as the number of hours of being on the train goes above 4, there's a significant diminution of the percentage of the riders attracted to the train service. The best strategy against, in competition between the rail and the road, is service frequency. And service frequency means simply that someone who is considering taking the train needs to be able to have significant service available and not be worried about will the train be there at 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock. Trains need to be operated like shuttles. There needs to be a lot of train service. They need to be operated with relatively short headways. They need to be available to consumers pretty much all the time. So when you look at the JRE service out of Tokyo, for instance, they have departures every 4 to 12 minutes. And in the peak period, just from personal experience, sitting at the Tokyo main station, trying to decide whether you want to buy a ticket on the 8 o'clock train, the 8:04, the 8:08, the 8:12, the 8:16, that seems kind of crazy because each train holds over 1,000 people. But then you get up to the platform and a train comes in, 1,000 people get on that train and the train leaves, all within about 30 seconds. And 3.5 minutes later, a train comes in, it loads another 1,000 people and leaves. It is an awesome service to observe, and the frequency is in line with the huge demand. The Thalys system coming out of Amsterdam, going to Paris and Brussels, also with service to Cologne, and Bruges. Again, 28 trains a day between Paris and Brussels. Departures every 30 minutes. Don't really have to think about when is the train. You just have to decide which train to get ticketed on when you get to the station. It's a 1 hour and 25-minute duration between Paris and Brussels, and the trains are frequent enough that people don't have to worry about their schedule. Here, just a quick picture of modal split. And again, all of this is statistics that are helpful in making a prediction for a new line. Madrid-Sevilla, before the high-speed train was implemented, 60% of the travel between those two places was by car, 14% by conventional train, which took quite a long time. After the AVE system was commissioned, the percentage on the train travel went up to 52%, and it is still climbing. And the aviation mode lost 60% of its market share. In France, again, the TGV plays a significant role in the city pairs that have high-speed trains. Looking at the nation as a whole, however, the car is still the dominant mode. Statistically, it's very important to understand that high-speed rail affects travel along the corridors between the origins and destinations. Really doesn't have